Hello and welcome to Exotic Wine Travel. I'm your host, Matthew Horkey. Today, it's a different format to the show today. I am going to review a wine, but I'm going to talk about something that comes up often in wine conversation, and it's the wine critic scoring system. Now, it's easy to be caught up in that, and critics have just brought wine to a whole nother level. They've made it more accessible for people, so there's nothing bad. But the thing is, a lot of wine sales is dependent on critic high scores. So I'm going to talk about that today. I'm going to set the stage. First of all, I have this bottle here. It's from Spain. It's a San Roman from Toro, 2011. It's 100% of Tempranillo, or in Toro they call it a different grape, but it's basically essentially a clone of Tempranillo. 24 months in French and American oak before it's released, so it's a big wine. Now, we got this wine on New Year's Eve after we had a couple of wines. The menu said it has a 92. The menu mistakenly said it had a 96-point Robert Parker score, which is a super high score. When we went home and looked at it, it's 92 points, Robert Parker, Wine Spectator. So I want to talk about this. When we opened this bottle and drank it, I literally felt disgusted. I thought it was not very good. To me, it tasted like a $7 over-oaked Cabernet from Napa. It was just a lot of oak, a lot of caramel, a lot of vanilla. It was really thick on the palate. I actually didn't like it at all. And it's funny, we didn't finish it. I asked them actually to dump it out, but they didn't. They put a cork in it. We brought it home and we drank it the next day. I just wanted to taste it and make sure. And after it aired for a day, it tasted phenomenal. The vanilla, the caramel all softened down. The cherry, the fruit flavors came out more, and the finish was long and super silky instead of rough like it was the night we opened it. So what happened? That was the story. Let me tell you a few things. Number one, don't always trust critic scores. You have to trust your own palate. I know it's easy to be influenced by critic scores, but you have to trust your own palate. Number two, there are so many factors. Wine is a moving target. There are so many factors when it comes to enjoying and what you like about wine. The temperature has to be right. The mood has to be right. Your perception of the environment has to be right. So many neurologic factors go into play. Since wine, most of the flavor comes from your nose. Actually, your tongue only detects salty, sour, sweet, bitter, and then if you're Japanese, umami flavors. Most of the distinction takes place in your nose. So if you have a stuffy nose, the wine's going to taste a little bit different that night. The different food you eat with it, it all factors in, especially maybe the wine wasn't stored properly, it didn't get enough air. So no, critic scores can fluctuate, and your palate and your taste can fluctuate too. Also, another thing is some wine has to have proper airtime for the oxygen to mix into the flavors, and almost think of it like baking. Baking, you have to have the heat, the perfect culmination of the ingredients come together to make something nice. If an ingredient is off, if the heat is off a certain level, the cake doesn't come out as nice. So wine usually has a magical formula. The problem is most people, even the critics, professionals, don't know what that exact formula is, but some big wines especially need some airtime. So next time you're out, you're getting wine, especially at a restaurant, don't always trust the critic scores. Ask advice and know what you like to drink. Experiment. Know what you like to drink, and I'm sure you'll have a fantastic experience. If you like this video, please click the like button. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Exotic Wine Travel, and I'll see you next time. Thanks a lot.